Alright, so time for a brand new video. Last week I was pretty much covering a lot of Resident Evil videos, just talking about the first time I ever got the game. So this time I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit. And it's going to be a little exciting because this one, I'm going to be talking about the very first game I ever owned. So one thing I do want to mention first, unfortunately I was not able to hit my goal from last month, which was to hit 100 subscribers by the end of May. Well, short by 3 inches. I mean, subscribers. But I mean, hey, it's whatever. But I mean, it doesn't matter because even if I did hit my goal, I'd still be a disappointment to my family. Nah, just fucking around. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. This was the very first game I ever owned. And before I get into it, one thing I do want to talk about is, like I said, I was pretty late to a lot of game consoles. I skipped quite a few generations. I mean, I've been gaming for a very long time, but when I was gaming, it was just whenever I was like hanging out with my cousins, playing on the NES, or eventually when my mom got one, we would always play like Super Mario Brothers 3 and stuff like that. Just good old stuff like that. But I never really had a game console to call my own. So this was back in, I believe, 1997. I was like probably like 17 or 16 at the time, and I actually got my first Super Nintendo, and this was given to me, I believe, for a Christmas gift, if I'm not mistaken. But the thing is, I got no games for it. Like, well, cool. Like, but then again, it wouldn't exactly be the first time I've gotten a console, but no games. Nintendo Switch. But anyways, so yeah, I got this for a Christmas gift, which is pretty fucking cool. It's like, man, this is badass. My very own console that I can call my own. And the one I got, I believe, was the first generation. It was the one where it had like an eject button in the middle of kind of in the middle, like in front of the cartridge slot, and that would basically pop up the cartridge. But man, I had that thing for a good long time. So fast forward all the way until, I believe, heading towards my birthday, which was in March. We went to a little flea market heading towards Boutique, Texas, and this is where I got my very first Super Nintendo game. And I don't know, my mom just offered it to me. She was like, "Hey, do you want this?" So I've never seen you play the toy or whatever I got you. I'm like, "Oh, well, that's because I have no games for it." Like, "Oh, okay, whatever." Well, I was like, "Oh shit," which is kind of funny. I'm like, "Well, you had an NES. Didn't you not realize you need to buy games for it?" But nah, whatever. There's just moments like that, I guess, when you get older. But yeah, so she got me the X-Men Mutant Apocalypse because at the time I was like really into X-Men. Like, oh, this is pretty badass. I mean, I still like it every now and then. I like to go back to it or try to keep up with X-23 because it's not because she's waifu material. Okay, it's because she's waifu material. But yeah, man, I mean, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse was the very first game I ever got. The funny thing is, I don't remember too many details, but the one detail I do remember is we had a bunch of funnel cake before actually getting the game. That's as far as everything goes back. That's all I can remember. And man, I love that funnel cake. Funnel cake's fucking great. But yeah, I remember getting that game. It was like the only thing I got from the flea market because there wasn't shit, to be honest. But man, I remember just bringing that shit home. It wasn't in the game cover or anything. Like there was no like little cardboard cases you would get for the Super Nintendo games. No booklet, nothing. Just the game itself with like a shitty little orange sticker on it, or I think it was an orange sticker, or I think it might have been yellow. I think, and I think it was priced for like $20. I think, which back then was actually a lot of money. Like, oh man, it's kind of pricey for a fucking game. Like, flea market shouldn't be charging this much, but whatever, fuck it. But yeah, so I took that home, played it. Ah man, that game brings back so many memories, and I think most people would definitely agree like how good the soundtrack is. If you don't remember too much the game, you definitely probably remember the soundtrack. Like, I mean, because everyone loves Wolverine's theme. Like you know what? Let me just play a little small segment for it, because. All right, so as you can tell, it sounds pretty metal, or as metal as you can make a song sound in the SNES days. SNES days, but man, that song brings back so many memories. And despite the fact I've only beaten the game, I think once out of my entire life, I think I've only beaten it once. I mean, bro, I mean, I'll still go back to it, just load it up on my Wii. I probably shouldn't be talking about the methods I used to load it up. But man, I like to go back, load it up, play Wolverine just to hear that theme. Along with Cyclops. Cyclops got a badass theme. I think Psylocke's got a pretty good theme too. Speaking of Psylocke, one of my favorite things to do as a horny teenager was to, well, I'm pretty sure everyone else has done it. Whenever you hold down and she squats and you do like her little sweeping kick, if you pause at the right moment, you get to admire them butt cheeks. Those nice, glorious 16-bit butt cheeks. And man, let's just say it was a very fun time in the bathroom. But yeah, man, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, the soundtrack was great. I don't think even to this day I even gave a shit about the story. I just played it for fun, man. But it's still a good game. I still like to go back to it. I'm actually thinking about going back to it just for this channel. Just go back to it, see how far I can get. Which would be kind of unfair because I'm going to be using gameplay footage for this recording anyway. But whatever. But yeah, man, that was the first game I ever had. It means a lot to me. I really gotta try my hardest to get a physical copy. Like, I just gotta have it again, man. Like, the only physical copy I still have for an SNES is actually Killer Instinct, but that will be for another day. But yeah, man, X-Men Mutant Apocalypse was my very first game. I'm surprised I could remember that shit back then, man. Because like I said, this was back in like 1997, and I'm like fucking 43 years old right now. But bro, like that game was just, man, I fucking miss it. Well, not so much miss it. It's just something really nostalgic. I love to go back to it and play it. Like, I really wish I could speak more details about the first day I ever like got it and played it. But like I said, as far as I remember, the only thing I remember was just going to the flea market in Poteet, or going towards Poteet, and then having some funnel cake, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, so that's what I really wanted to talk about. So if you liked the little story, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Thanks for watching. Nut.